Hello and welcome to another episode of My Opinion Means Nothing. This week I am joined by a good friend of mine, Aaron James.
Hello, how are you?
How are you doing, man?
I'm very well, thank you. Not too bad. Pleasure to be able to join you finally.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
Catch up with you.
So, have you listened to any of my episodes?
I've listened to, I think I half listened to one with Sean Rivers. I didn't get a chance to finish that one off, but I was tuned into a bit of that one.
Okay, cool.
So, I haven't had a chance to divulge into all of your content
it's cool.
yet.
It's just I just wanted to know if you knew how the structure of the show went and stuff like that. So, first of all, what I like to do is I talk about what's happening in the world and how I found a few articles that I've searched over the last couple of days that I found interesting and stuff like that. So we could just delve in and talk about
Let's
it.
go for it.
So the first one I found was yesterday. It was about this 20-year-old who was stabbed to death in London after a house party, and it was shared on social media. So, I just wanted to talk about it more. Yeah. So because I don't know, I couldn't imagine that back in the day.
Do you know, it's funny because so I'm a youth worker, right?
Yeah, okay.
And I've done an event on the weekend which was around knife crime. And it's so funny, that's the first topic you bring up, because when I was at this event, I formed a piece around knife crime, and it was just really trying to, and there's people from the New Scotland Police, and it's really trying to understand the state our young people are in when it comes to the idea of carrying a weapon. And it is a completely different mentality. That, as sad as it is not surprising the young community at the moment, which is, I guess, the biggest problem.
And that's what I mean.
20 years of age. My brother's 20 years old.
My brother's 21, 22.
Yeah. It's extremely sad.
Yeah.
It's extremely sad. And it's a continuously growing problem. And what I liked about the event I previously done was it was great to see that there are quite a lot of organisations still trying to contribute and give different advice and whatever to young people, because it's something that's continuously growing, and it causes more harm than young people actually realise.
What do you think is the main cause of this spike in, I guess, knife crime?
The main cause, I think there's a number of contributing factors. I think the biggest thing is to understand that it's almost like a cycle. Yeah. Right? So, gang culture is real. Yeah. Let's not act like it's not. And by default, if one member in a gang carries a knife, or of an opposing gang or an opposing group of people, in turn the cycle begins because you have to carry one as well. Yeah. Not even necessarily to be the aggressor, but in some ways the defender. Yeah. However, it's a continuous cycle. So now someone else has got one, and means you need to have one, and vice versa. Yeah. To the point where it means, we're not just looking at our young men doing this as well, we're also looking at our young women. Yeah, and we're not just looking at, in many ways, the black community, which is a massive problem. We're looking at young people that grow up in that culture. Yeah. And this youth, especially in this London urban culture, you get white kids who are urban, you get, Asian kids, you get, do you know what I mean? South American kids that are all fall within this pot of diversity and understand and grow up in this culture that is unfortunately quite destructive. And so that would be my main thing. I think the thought process of carrying a knife is almost in the way of like they do it, so we have to do it. And then unfortunately within that as well, it then gets glamorized as well. Yeah. So not only are you doing it for to just keep myself, make sure I'm not rolling without it, but on the flip side, I've just seen a song, or I've just seen somebody post something, they're doing it for coolness as well. So then it gets a bunch of people who should have no business, no one has any business in it, but no business even involved in it, now carrying it. And I'll tell you something interesting. I had a conversation with a young man, 19 years of age, about 2 months ago, and he was on the bus, we had a conversation for about half an hour, and he was involved in it. And he said to me, listen, I'd rather be caught with it than without it. Yeah. And that kind of hit me, okay, I'd rather be caught with a knife than without a knife.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know, I've never really thought about it personally. I think, when I was younger, I feel like I saw more of, I guess, the gang side, maybe. Not that I was involved in it, but I was it was on the estate, so I was going through there on the way to school, on the way back from school, and it was scary. Yeah. But now I feel like I'm no longer scared walking through the estate, but maybe it's that because of my mindset. I'm not really thinking too much about it, so I don't really see it too much.
I think mindset is key. What you said there, for me anyway. I think like obviously everyone, when you leave your house, be safe, be careful. That's your standard, right? However, the type of person that you are, the way you carry yourself, you're not looking for that trouble. You don't attract that type of trouble. Young people, it's almost like, especially now within it, they must have a sixth sense about who else is in it, and they can kind of tell, you know, maybe by the way they look, the way they walk, the way they talk. It's like, okay, they're involved. I've got to make sure that I'm alert and whatever. And you know, like when I would say similar thing, I would probably say the exact same thing for you myself. Like I said, I'm from Tottenham, and where there were difficult areas within Tottenham, and you know, you'd always just keep your eyes and ears open. Do you know what I mean? However, I never got into that at all. Yeah. And when you get older, you're now looking from a different point of view. It's like, wow, okay, you know, these are young people that are caught up in it massively, and are going through a real confusion at the moment. You know?
I think it's kind of sad.
It's very sad,
And it's just that this young boy, he was a DJ. I don't know if he was involved too much in the violence of anything, but he was DJing someone's 18th birthday.
Nice.
There was over 100 people that showed up at the party, and the party was posted on social media and everything. He was identified as friends online included. He was in friends with midfielder Timothy Fosu-Mensah.
Okay, yeah. Former United player. I think he might still be a United player. But what you said is quite interesting, right? Like, he was DJing at a party. He was doing something positive.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
A 20-year-old.
That's what I mean.
Learning a creative craft.
That's what I mean.
Like, that's amazing. He wasn't doing on the streets, doing it at a party. He was like, you know, potentially maybe getting a little bit of money for, you know, for a 20-year-old. That's nice. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And we don't know obviously the background of the boy or whatever, but on that you're thinking, oh, that's a shame. That's a real waste, because that's someone that's doing something constructive, doing something positive, making people smile with his talent. Yeah. And now it's been taken away.
Exactly.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. It's definitely a big problem that we've got in our society, and you know, constantly trying to think about different ways to rectify it and change it, and yeah, it's not an easy one.
I think a small and maybe huge part about it is kind of also the funding they're taking away from policing and education and all that. It's not helping, but it's also adding to the problem, because if you take away from the police that should be on the streets walking, and you're cutting that money away, then what's actually out there? Like, I think I was reading a report. I was on the podcast with Minnie last week, and I read the article, and it said the Home Office are unsure how much money left the police have. And I was like, well, how can you guys be unsure about how much money the police have when you're the guys that are making the cuts and should be aware of what department has the money? So if you guys don't know, and the police, then I don't understand what's going on. You know what I mean?
What is the thing? You take out, you know, the last 10 years, you know, a massive amount of closures for even youth clubs. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it plays not just youth clubs, but you know, youth charities are also struggling to find money. You know, so I've worked for youth charities and
my dad used to
for the last 4 years as a youth worker and a youth mentor, and the funding is not easy to get. You know, whether it be in the youth centre or youth club, they're all getting you know, their budgets are shrinking, they're getting closed down because they can't afford to stay open. They haven't got enough support, haven't got enough resources to put the best provisions and interventions in place for these young people that need it.
It's unfortunate. Is that down to the government that making the cuts, or is it down to the people for not supporting the youth clubs?
Absolutely. So here we go. I think getting cuts is a massive major issue regarding it. Yeah. However, what I say is, like, we need to support our community more. Yeah. Like, in terms of, if you live in a borough and you have one youth club for that borough and it's for your children or whatever, right? As parents, as neighbours, as teachers, as youth workers, we all have an interest in that. Yeah. Because those young people that go to that are eventually going to be young adults that work in the same area and society that we currently work in now.
Exactly.
So we need to create provisions for them to continue to develop so they can join us in this adulthood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it's alright to blame the government, which I do agree with is a problem, but I'm more about ownership of self, innit? Like we as a group of people take ownership of our local community. This is our community.
Yeah.
Like we live here type thing.
It's true.
You know what I mean? We live in London. Wherever your boroughs, wherever your areas, you live there.
Yeah.
So therefore you, along with other people within it, need to make just as much of in your own way a contribution as any other stakeholder, any other source. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like this kind of blame society that we're in is a real bad type or phase that we're in, because we're in a phase where no one takes responsibility for anything that they do.
Yeah.
It's easier to just blame someone, I understand that, but people are just blaming other people and it's them who are the ones who are responsible. And it's just like, if you're blaming other people, that's fair enough, but what about your implementing?
Absolutely. I think, look, when it comes to anything of this nature, you've always got to look at it objectively so you can see maybe who is at fault. But however, on the flip side of that, in the same point you said, I always try to look at what could I have done better in that situation, or what could I do to be better in that situation. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the mentality that we need to take moving forward. Otherwise, all we just do is blame, then we build up more resentment to the government, to the police, to this, to that, and it's like they've got their own problems that they're trying to work on as well, but we've also got our own part that we need to take care of from our side. Do you know what I mean? So
what else was there? Did you hear about the bid for Sky?
The bid for Sky?
Yeah. Do you know about how Disney have bought 20th Century Fox from Rupert Murdoch, and 20th Century Fox had a stake in Sky?
Oh, really?
So there was this big bid for over the weekend for Sky, and it was out of Disney and all these other big companies. And just at the last minute, Comcast came in and swiped.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
How much money are we talking?
I think, wait, where was it? 30 billion?
That's a serious number right there.
Yeah. So Sky will continue, but under Comcast running now.
Okay.
I think BT were running it for a while. They must have sold their stocks. They were.
What, of Sky?
Yeah, they were.
Interesting.
And then Fox, and then Rupert Murdoch had it with Fox, and then they've just now been sold to Comcast. I think Comcast own people like NBC and.
So they're quite a big.
Yeah.
And it sounds like more American network based.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I wonder if it will affect more of
the TV show.
Yeah. Whether like what type of content they put out Sky.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Especially if, who's the owner of Sky?
Rupert Murdoch was, but he's just, because obviously that's what the whole the bid war was about. It was like Rupert Murdoch sold Fox or Disney bought Fox from Rupert Murdoch.
Okay.
Because Disney were like, well, if we already own like most of it. If they own Fox, then they own like whole of Marvel. You know?
I mean, is there any rule against having such a massive monopoly?
No, there's not.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know about like stuff like glasses. I was watching this really interesting thing on YouTube. So the people who own glasses conglomerate, there's someone who owns whoever owns the glasses conglomerate. He owns all the glasses on the market and he owns all the shops.
Really?
So the reason why he can basically charge whatever price he wants because he controls the entire market. And it was like, I think I was watching in the video, it was like when Oakley's first came out, they were independent and they weren't part of this big conglomerate. They tried to put their own prices out, start to try and sell in different shops. So what this big conglomerate did, they just stopped Oakley's from being able to be sold in all the glasses stocks. So then Oakley's went down in price. They bought out Oakley's, and now Oakley's are worn by only the top of the top. Back in the day, anyone used to wear Oakley's. So
I always find it interesting when like certain industries have one sole owner. I don't think that's healthy for business.
No, it doesn't. But it just means you can control the market. You can charge whatever you want because you know people are going to buy it.
I remember there was a few years ago about like I think it was to do with mobile phone networks.
Yeah.
And it was talk about a few of them were going to join up together.
Like T-Mobile and EE?
I think so.
Yeah, T-Mobile and Orange, sorry.
Well, they joined up, but I think there was another one after that, right? That was, and we got